Cool. We are ready. Suyash?
Yeah. Yes,
Rusty?
we are live.
Rusty is looking bright and shiny today.
Hi,
What's the
hello.
secret, buddy? Sunscreen?
It's the sun.
Cool, guys. Welcome back. We're going to talk about another interesting topic today. Interesting, rather, it's a worrisome. And thank you, audience, for joining in. It's such a there's a big debate around entire population, depopulation, overpopulation. Like everyone have their own opinion and everyone have their own theories. Even Elon Musk was reportedly betting strongly for the world population is going down, and we need to take care of it. There are so many things, so many issues, complexities involved. We are going to touch upon one particular aspect of that entire overpopulation, depopulation, underpopulation agenda. That is the male infertility part. Like there are lots of things, lots of issues which has been attributed to this particular aspect of people not producing enough, and in some cases, people are producing more than enough. So it has a religious connotation, it has socio-economic connotation, it has a lot of environmental and toxin on EMF exposure that we are talking about. So many aspects are linked to this male infertility issue that we thought it is the right time to talk about it and dispel if there are any wrong notions being carried away in your mind. So basically, the objective of this entire series is to take up issues which are most important to male community, which contribute, which are like 50% of the world population, and then address it from all sides. Like we are not only going to look at the social issues, we are going to look at the medical thing, the issues which are surrounding the modern lifestyle, the issues which are contributing to the entire political conspiracy around it. So, just to give you a perspective, the world over the fertility rate is hovering around 2.1, which is just equivalent to a replacement population, as we call it. We are producing enough to replace the dying population. We are not actually exploding. The popular belief is all around the world that population is exploding and all that. We are actually declining, and that birth rate will start plummeting further. In case of Korea and Japan, it has already been seen they are below the replacement rate, and as per one mathematical model, they will the entire race will get wiped out in next 200 years if they don't change their course. China realized after many years of following one family, one child policy, their population is declining. India will realize soon. India is actually still in a population growth mode. But Suyash, coming back to the fundamental issue that we are here to talk about is the male infertility issue, right? So, what is actually the technical term, the medical term for all these issues? Like we castigate everything under one term, male infertility. Okay, just say in case of female, it's called in Hindi called banj hai. In case of male, it is called a namard hai. Like
Right.
we have categorized all the issues surrounding male infertility into he is a namard. So namard means non-masculine. I mean whatever you can call it, but in the popular colloquial term it is called namard. So if you look at namard is basically the one who cannot copulate, who is not sexually aroused. But in case of infertility, that is not the issue. Am I right? Maybe you can just give us more idea about what exactly the male infertility is all about.
Yeah. So infertility is a very broad term, right? In which come a lot of different issues. It could be related to premature ejaculation, low sperm count, and a lot of even like as you talked about sexual arousal stuff. Uh, Even if there is hard time penetrating with that, and like so it's a very broad term which under which there could be a lot of different causes. Now we have to really work on finding out what actually is causing the infertility, right? It could be low sperm count, it could be related to then some other root causes. Similarly, categorizing this with only one single reason will not be fair, right? So we need to understand what are the different reasons that could be that could cause infertility, especially. So that's one thing, and then the other thing is the major thing which I found most of the time, a lot of people believes and ideology, especially men's belief and ideology, is that they don't want to accept that they have certain issues, infertility issues, especially. They always try to park it on other side, or try to run away from it, or put it in the darker side of them, and they don't want to actually challenge their beliefs, or challenge themselves, that there can be some issues with themselves as well, right? Because man, as we discussed in this toxic masculinity session as well, that it is related to something, masculinism, that there is nothing wrong with us, it's everything, other side of the story with movements and other things. So that is the major reason, which we need to understand and find it out what exactly is the problem with what
So
fertility is.
one is the psychology, Suyash, that we
Yeah,
male don't want to accept coming from a
right.
patriarchal background,
Exactly.
and that false sense of machoism associated with their namardi or madangi. So, but coming back to the fundamental issues, infertility means you are not able to have a baby.
Maybe.
Is the
Right.
correct word for it, right? Whatever may be the reason for it. Your
Yes, so
sperm is
you're
not
not
good
able to
enough, or
conceive.
you don't have enough sperm to
Right.
fertilize an egg,
Right.
right?
Yes.
That is the
Yes.
way it has to be, right? So
Yes.
in your practice, like you were consulting even the other day, I remember you were talking to one of our consultants, and you were talking about the fertility part itself, the testosterone level going down. So is there a direct correlation between how your testosterone level behaves and the sperm count, or your ability to fertilize an egg?
So sometimes testosterone cannot be the true marker for infertility itself.
Okay.
It could be a very later marker. Like at the worst scenario, you might feel that okay, the testosterone levels has gone low, but the infertility issue can start very early on in life. And how we can reflect that, or how we can know that, is as we already always do, right? Testing the blood, seeing whether there are any kind of nutrient deficiencies, seeing the lifestyle pattern of that specific client, whether there are any toxins, any hormonal imbalances happening early on with themselves, how's the lifestyle, smoking, alcohol, physical abusement, uh, even like as I said, stress can be a major factor for that, because as we all know, sex is more of a procreation of recreational activity. So if the body is already in stress, definitely the body will not have much resources to produce sperm, or let's say to actually conceive, or to get either egg fertilized. And even lack of movement, right? If there's lack of movement and the higher testosterone, simply cannot be right. As Rusty will also be explaining, other lifestyle issues, and he'll be digging deep into that. What could be the reason? But yeah, like combining all, it could be in lifestyle. The best way we can assess it is through the blood chemistry, to see the internal markers, right, with the hormonal parameters, then nutrient deficiencies, then toxins, whether there are any impact of toxins or any infections coming in the blood.
Is there a direct way of enhancing the sperm count? Suppose your tested, your semen was tested, and your sperm
Yeah,
count
so
was
there is
found
a
below
test
the optimal level.
for, yeah, sperm
So,
count,
is
right?
there a way of increasing that sperm count? Is it medically possible to increase the sperm count?
Definitely, definitely. Like so, ideally, what happened in our allopathic study or medical this thing scenario is, they directly give you drugs, to enhance the libido, or to enhance the testosterone levels, to give enough sperm count. But once we understand the root causes, then we can start working on it. Definitely, there are dietary approaches, lifestyle contributors, and as well as supplements. A lot of time when I see, there are few clients who really get really good results after starting some adaptogenic, and as well as testosterone boosting supplements like Gokshura, Shilajit, which I'll be again discussing further on in our session as well. But definitely there is dietary, we can work on it, and we can see results based on that as well.
Okay, thanks, Suresh. Rusty, I mean, sorry, Sachin, Rusty, what's your, you put your original name in already. So, Rusty,
Yeah, my alias name is Rusty. I like to go by that on the internet.
okay,
Thank
no
you so
problem.
much. Yeah,
So, Rusty,
Suyash was
coming back, no, I am going to ask you a very specific question, because I was
sure.
reading a report just before this program started. In last 50 years, there has been a drop of almost 50% in the average male sperm count mostly in the Western Hemisphere. There is a wide Caucasian male population. So
That's right.
there are so many factors which are attributed to it, like modern lifestyle, stay life, not having good quality of food, exposure to lots of
Absolutely.
toxins. So you do a lot of work around this area. You do a lot of research around the entire the modern hectic lifestyle, the stresses
Yeah.
which the modern human carries around with them. Do you find in your research, in your literature review, there is a relation between how we are living now as compared to how we used to live before, and the sperm count itself, the infertility incidence itself?
Yes. So yeah, thank you, Avinash. So in the last 50 years, there has been a lot of reports recently, a lot of news articles coming out from various publications mentioning, the sperm count has been dropping drastically, as much as 50% in recent times. And I definitely believe, and from my research, that everything the modern man is doing more harm than good. It's actually affecting the fertility rate, the sperm count is dropping, the sperm mortality rate is dropping. There are a lot of reasons for that. Maybe we can start with the sun exposure.
Sure.
People are scared of the sun. They're not going out enough in the sun, and I think, as light drives the information and the energy required to sustain a lot of processes in the body. All the biochemistry is driven by light, and people are not going out enough and spending more time in the artificial light. So that's one of the major problem, definitely. And again, like, light is EMF basically. So yeah, right now from the literature, if you see, you will see that the amount of non-native EMF, which is basically the man-made EMF, has gone up by billion into billion times. That's 10 to the power 18. So that's drastic. And I'd like to believe that that's one of the major reasons why this is happening. So people should definitely look into this area, because these are invisible fields of energy and you cannot see them, and they are affecting us 24/7. Like, people are putting their phone in pocket all the time. Tell me one person who does not put their phone in the pocket. What I do personally is I put it on airplane mode and put it in my pocket. They like to put it right there next to the head. A lot of gliomas are associated with the exposure to, the wireless radiation. Again, all those stuff is there. But yeah, apart from that, I will say there are a lot of other reasons as well. I'd like to say, it's one of the reason can be the vaccines too, because actually there was a study recently done in Israel, where they found that it was in June. They found the sperm count dropping for men who had taken the vaccine when compared with the men who had not.
But let me cut you short because I want to know more about this vaccine related stuff. But I want to elaborate. I want you to elaborate on this EMF part. There are lots of
Sure.
misgiving about it. Some people are saying, okay, EMF is causing all sorts of biochemical issues in your body. At the same time, some people are not affected by it, even though they are in the same environment. So
Yeah.
you might be going by the study which was in a controlled environment and all that. But anecdotally, if you see, like 10 people are able to produce babies and 10 people are not able to produce baby in the same environment. So
Yeah.
is there any differentiator? These kind of population or these kind of people will be more affected by EMF, especially their infertility part, and these kind of people are protected some way. Maybe natural selection itself is happening.
Yeah. I mean, see, it's the same thing, right? Like, if there are 10 people in a room, if one has a running nose, not everyone is going to catch it.
Yeah.
Some people might. It depends on the immunity. There are a lot of factors on which it depends on. So it does not affect everyone in the same way, but it is definitely affecting. And the problem is we are not able to see these things, and the science also
So
does not
how do we
agree.
differentiate? How do we find out it is going to affect me or it has affected me already?
If it is affecting you, then you need to. There are a lot of markers which we check here at iThrive. Uh, One can be your, inflammation going high, your bun to creatine ratio is going up. Uh, you might be feeling that there is something called EHS. It's electro hypersensitivity. where people start seeing side effects when they are around these elect electromagnetic fields. Uh, Side effects like they are feeling headache all the time. They have a runny nose as soon as they enter their house or their office. Uh, that people can read about EHS in detail there. I mean, you can go to Google and read about it.
So,
Although it is
especially
not.
with respect to EMF, what are the treatment models? Like, can we protect ourselves?
Yes, definitely.
Let's be realistic about it. Ki I have to carry phone around. I can get rid of Wi-Fi from my house, and
Yeah.
the 5G towers are coming up everywhere. The 3G, 4G is already there. There are lots of by using the electronics and electrical equipment also. The electric lines are everywhere, like you were talking about dirty electricity some
Yes.
time back. So considering that we are surrounded by everything, and unless I go to the jungle, that too in maybe Brazilian Amazon forest where there is no signal, maybe. But EMF, protecting ourselves from EMF, what can we do?
I mean, I like to explain it in just two little steps. Okay. One is to minimize your exposure. Okay. Like whatever, I mean, you must be spending, these days, the people spend like 4 or 5 hours at least every day on their phone. So reduce your exposure to phone. Okay. Minimize exposure to all kind of EMF. It can be coming out of your phone. If you live near cellular tower, move your house or find a new house or something.
There are cellular
Uh,
towers everywhere, like every building has one.
there are. So that's the thing with these EMF, right? There is something called power density law, where with the increasing distance, that brings me to my second point. Okay. With every small increase in distance, the the harmful uh,
Effect will go down.
electromagnetic fields which are coming, the I mean the problem happening because of them reduces drastically. That is like uh, by major folds, like 10 to the power 4, like
Hmm.
4 zeros. So that's drastic difference, even with small amount of distance between you and the source. So one is
Okay.
minimize your exposure, and second is to maximize your distance from the source. So you just have to maximize the distance from the source of the EMF. With the phone, it's always around you. You're putting it in your pocket, you're putting it in your head. So don't do that. Use a speaker, use these headphones. If you are
Wired
using
one, right?
internet, yeah,
Wired,
if you're
wired.
using, yes, wired, use wired. If you're using internet, please connect it to a Ethernet cable. Don't use Wi-Fi. Keep the Wi-Fi off. Keep the Bluetooth off. Absolutely, do not use wireless headphones. Those are the worst because you are like right next, putting it right next here to your brain. So that's the worst. Apart from
So
that,
anyway,
there are a lot of
so
other
there are
things.
Paradise cage. Even Suyash was talking about some kind of supplement which protects you from EMF. Are these things established, or they're just, I mean,
It's
some
not
kind of
established
gadget?
because see, the major problem we have right now is the science is not agreeing to this. Okay,
The
but
mainstream science.
there are a lot
Mainstream
of
is not agreeing.
researchers.
There are a lot of
Mainstream is
brainstorming.
not agreeing to this that EMF is causing damage. The mainstream does not want to agree with that. But there are independent researchers. There are more than 100 independent researchers. If you go and read the Bioinitiative 2012 report, that there are more than 100 independent researchers who have done the research, and they have figured out that EMF is causing damage even at minute scale, even at 2.4 gigahertz, which your Bluetooth works at. Even your wireless mouse and keyboard works at 2.45 gigahertz. So that's a real problem. But people do, I mean, the mainstream science is not agreeing to it right now. But let me tell you, 15, 20 years down the line, this is going to be a major problem, like
Then
how
they will give
smoking
you
was.
Nobel Prize, right?
Me? No. I mean, there are a lot of great people out there who should be receiving the Nobel Prize. Number one is Martin Paul. He has figured out the mechanisms through which the EMF cause the damage inside the body through the calcium channels.
Hmm.
Yeah. Martin Paul, Paul. Yeah.
Guys, look up for this Martin Paul and enlighten yourself. If you don't find Martin Paul, Rusty is always there. You can reach
Sure.
out
Z
to him
underscore Rusty
and
on Twitter.
know more about EMF. Rusty is going to start master classes on EMF very soon. So do learn about it, at least from the knowledge point of view. Whatever precautions you can take, especially when you're in a fertile age group of say 22 to 35 age group, you're expected to be active sexually and able to fertilize
Yeah, and
properly.
also for the parents, especially because when they have small kids, they are very prone to all the negative effects of EMF because their brain is in the development stage. And from the studies I have seen, women who are pregnant, if they are exposed to EMF, they are 3x more likely to have miscarriage, and the
Because
kids,
of high water content, I think, right? 75%
yeah.
water, right?
Oh, I don't know
Water
about
side.
that, but
Yeah.
they are more prone to all the damage caused by
I'm
the
going to
EMF.
take this discussion to some another level. Like we are made of not only the physical dense part that we always talk about the biochemistry part and all those things that is happening in to this body. We're only talking about the sperm counts and the physical parameters, the biochemical parameters, or the physiological or anatomical parameters that we talk about. But we are made of the energy being, like our emotions are energy, our mind is energy, our soul is an energy. And EMF is a source of energy. EMF is found everywhere, as the said. It's a cosmic energy. But whatever the man-made EMF is interfering with our other beings. It is not only the body. It is going to affect your mind. It is going to affect your soul connection itself. So when your entire existence is defined by these four beings, out of these four, three are energy like mind, emotions, and the soul, and you only focus on the physical part. Okay, I need to increase the sperm count, I need to increase my testosterone level, or I need to only get my erection correct, or I shouldn't have a premature ejaculation. So we are only talking about the uh, physical aspect of it. So when I relate to sexuality in a different way, I relate to my partner in a different way, and if that partnership is not there, there is a high chance that you may not be able to conceive, even though there may not be any biochemical or any physiological issues in your body. So when you are, there is always a saying that female choose whom to partner with, so that the offspring is the whatever she thinks will
Right.
be the best product, right? So she has that uncanny ability, that sixth sense of choosing a partner whom she thinks going to give me the best offspring. So that is how the psychology or that is how the physiology has been devised. That is how the genetic works. That is the theory of natural selection. But apart from that, having said that, how do you connect with your partner at a different level also matters. Now, bringing that thing, Suyash, we have been working with a lot of clients on their mental issues and the emotional issues and the spiritual issues. Mugda does extensive work. She is like, all the time researching and talking and gaining knowledge from
Right.
whatever sources possible. And because of her, my knowledge level goes up and I start questioning what is going on. So what we are doing at iThrive, that functional nutrition approach itself to our infertility. So is it different than a conventional, say, allopathic approach? I don't see any direct references in other form of healing modalities like Ayurveda, or maybe there might be. I am not aware of it. What I see is you go to allopathy, he says, okay, your sperm count is not enough. Maybe you'll have to do the IVF. My close friends are IVF specialists, so I know. So you get into the IVF cycle, and it works both ways. Like your sperm is not good enough, so maybe you'll have to selectively do the test tube baby kind of thing. In case of female eggs not being enough, then we have this egg, or there are egg donors, there are sperm donors, and all sorts of permutation combinations is going on in this. So where does it fit? Like a female deciding for herself, say 200 years back or 500 years back, this is the best man to have sex with and have my child with, and now modern medicine and modern allopathy deciding, okay, this is the egg which is suitable and this is the sperm which is suitable in the laboratory and producing a child. So how this genetic thing is going to come about, I don't know, because spiritually I don't find that connection with your body itself, because it will be missing. It has been done in the lab. It is not naturally selected by the sperm and the eggs. They decided to merge and create offspring. So from functional nutrition point of view, what kind of approach you take when you're treating, say, a case of infertility? So what are the tests which are recommended, and how do you deduce this could be the possible root cause, and what are the possible root causes that you came across, and how do you go about treating them? Can you just explain this in brief?
Yeah. So, as you were discussing, like Avinash, the spiritual connection, I totally agree with you there. And I think because here what we are doing is we are playing with nature's, intelligence,
Design,
biological
yeah,
intelligence, design itself. So the consequences will always lead, to a destruction in the
destruction.
near future, right? So definitely we can see that. But coming, that's where our role comes in, right? As a healers, we have to work on how we can bring back that nature intelligence, biological intelligence, and establish them in their, inside them, so that they can function normally, naturally, as they were designed to. Talking about functional nutrition, functional medicine, as we already have discussed multiple times, that the first basis, the first criterion, first assessment part comes to, as a tool, is the blood test, right? Testing all your internal parameters to know exactly whether they are falling into optimal ranges or not. Based on that, we can identify the root causes specific to that person. Now, if you ask me that, in my experience with clients, that, what are some common root causes which we have seen, the first and foremost we see on almost everyone is nutrient deficiency and hormonal imbalance, especially in the case of male infertility, or infertility specifically. And then overuse of a lot of different medications, because a lot of these antacids, antibiotics, kills the natural bacteria, natural biome in the body, right, which actually has a negative effect on the person's hormones. So definitely that impacts a lot. Also, excessive use of conventional farming foods like pesticides and insecticides, because pesticides and insecticides are made to kill the egg, kill the sperm, uh, like in the insect, right? So eating that will definitely will be doing the same thing, but on a micro level. But it can lead to a macro level if you're been eating for longer periods of time, right? Being said that, lack of movement, stress make things worse, and that's where the first thing which we work on is correcting nutrient deficiencies, providing all the nutrients which they require, which the body requires, the resources require,
True.
giving them like enough herbs to boost their testosterone and bring their hormones onto balance, and then working on the psyche part. That's where I think that our mindset matter and our mental training comes in, right? That's where we work on their relationships. That's where we work on their psyche, how they approach, how they express themselves in their relationship. That again plays a very, very important role in establishing their own body's natural innate desire system. Uh, and then supplements and all the performance aids which we give, a collection of like ashwagandha, gokshura, different, combination that only further enhance whatever resources are required in the body, right? Whatever the hormone that need to be balanced, and then with a good corrective lifestyle, like reducing toxin exposure, making their sleep pattern regular, making sure that they're sleeping well, they're managing the stress, all the techniques, by incorporating all the techniques, we try to bring their body in balanced state, and that's where when they try, to conceive, try to recreate, that's where the miracle happens, right? Which we have seen with a lot of clients in the testimonials, right? So yeah, like that has been my experience in short. If you ask me, that these are all things which we do, and
I remember one of your clients from Australia thanking you for, and we were just laughing about it. Okay, how can Suyash help in
right.
fertility somewhere in Australia? Okay.
That was my
But
first case,
Rusty,
in fact,
yeah.
and yeah,
So Rusty, there is a question for you. Onion garlics are everywhere in our diet. Like Indian diet is made of onion garlic, except a particular community who doesn't eat onion and garlic or don't like onion and garlic. So is there a link? Have you come across anything? There is a question from the audience. Onion garlics are
No, no.
good to
I
detox
mean,
EMF toxicity from your body. Is it good? Can it work? Does it work?
garlic and onions are definitely great. They add taste to the food, but detoxifying, I mean, that's like what a vegan will say, to be really honest. But yeah, they're
You,
good.
you,
They
you,
taste
you
really
are getting
good,
into
but
vegan mode now. There will be vegan army after you.
no, directly there is no connection. I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay, now coming back to that fundamental question, you raise one more thing that is going around. Again, there is a strong opinion on both sides, especially with the new vaccine that has been launched, or even some of the previous vaccines that have been, been to the market for under various agenda, under various pretexts, and people need to get vaccinated, and celebrities endorsing it, politicians endorsing it. It has become more of a PR circles than a science-driven, initiative. It was more of okay, you take the vaccine, otherwise you are anti-national or something like that. So all kinds of propaganda was associated with it. Now, there are various things that we came across. Even when I was reading lots of articles and research paper and studies around it, around the side effects of vaccine, especially the COVID vaccine, which was launched last year. All kinds of like mRNA or even the Covishield, like the Indian one, even the inactivated virus, the old technology is used in Covaxin. So we have seen lots of cardiac issues. We have seen lots of women reproductive system issues. We have seen lots of liver-related issues. We have seen people dropping dead just like that, and all have been attributed to some way or the other to the vaccine. This is the first time I am hearing that there is a male infertility which is also related to the vaccine in a big way,
Yeah.
especially the COVID vaccine. And there, I also came across some research paper showing the correlation between the fertility rate dropping with the rollout of the vaccines in the last 1.5 years, whatever has
Yeah.
happened. So, what is your take on that? Like, is that really true that this vaccine can cause infertility also in male, especially?
I think, see, anything is possible. Okay, these vaccines which have been made in just couple of months, as soon as the COVID came, all these big companies, they were like, we are going to make the vaccine, and then they rushed into it, and then they came up with their product, which has made them billions of dollars. So anything is possible, in my opinion. And there have been few research papers, studies coming out, which has been proving my point that they can cause damage to the. It's definitely causing damage to the immune system, that's for sure. But apart from that, long term wise, it is. I'd like to believe from a couple of research papers which are coming out that it is causing damage, it is causing the male fertility crisis as well. Apart from all the issues which are already there, this is an additive to it, definitely.
So you mean to say that the people who have taken vaccine they should get themselves sick?
Definitely, there are few tests. I think Suyash can tell you better what those tests are
Mm-hmm.
to assess the damage if there is any by the vaccines. Suyash?
Yeah, so there are certain lab tests which one can do to measure the spike protein activity and how much coagulation is happening in the blood and how much the vaccine has affected the person's body, right? Which is like PTT, INR activity, and then there is IL-6 interleukin 6 protein which we can measure in the blood. Similarly, like that's where that's whole how we during especially during the time of vaccination and this period, a lot of cases even we were seeing a lot of reproductive health issues in female, and that's where I think we developed this things to how we can measure what impact the vaccine is having in the body and how we can neutralize it. That's how we
Yeah.
developed our own plan.
Few
Cool.
other tests I would like to mention. The D dimer
Yeah, D dimer, PTT,
and
INR, IL-6. This is
uh, yeah, vitamin D, and apart from that, there was another one, the CRP. Yeah, of course. You need to check
yeah.
like
There are
how the
inflammation.
inflammation in the body. Yeah.
Cool. So, Suresh, what gives us this authority that we are not doctors, we are not molecular biologists, we are not geneticists? What do we have? We have common sense, lots of common sense, and we can ask right kind of question, and we
Yeah,
can
logic, common sense.
look up to right kind of research. We are not
Right.
driven by any agenda. We are not paid by the big pharma. So,
Right.
is that enough motivation to look for the right kind of thing and do the right kind of stuff?
I think that's where the things which like what you attract, you'll receive. The moment we attract, our vision is to heal people. We'll attract right sources and we'll attract the right information which we need. And if you see, I think that's how the law of attraction also works, and that's why the right information always comes to us. And even like right people and brilliant minds, like as you know, Johan and all the are associated with us, right? Who, so, so I think we all have our own different universe, which is different from the whole like world. That's what how I associate in my life.
I know because all the time, many times I get this question. You're not doctors. How do you know? And fortunately, I have lots of doctor friends and doctor family, and I have nothing against the medical profession as such or the practitioner of medical profession. But the thing is that in terms of chronic disease management, in terms of issues which cannot be directly not acute in nature, I think the modern medicine has failed to a large extent.
Yeah,
And even the
brainwashing.
solution, yeah, even the
Yes,
solution which has been proposed, like antibiotics or painkillers,
right.
which is antidepressant, like which is prescribed for even gut issues, it has caused more harm than it can actually support. So I think the vaccine, the new vaccine, is definitely coming under that category. It is causing more harm than it could actually help people. I was a strong believer in vaccine before this COVID thing came up. I was protected against many of those smallpox kind of diseases. I am sure it worked then because it was not commercialized. It went into the market from a healing point of view. It did not go into the market to make money out of. Big pharma companies in COVID vaccine made trillions of dollars. Right? It was not if it was they were so concerned about humanity and people falling sick and getting so many things because of COVID, they should have distributed it free of cost. Government could have paid, right? So
Right.
yeah, but it didn't happen. So there is a commercial angle. There is another angle that Rusty wants to talk about. Like, what is this depopulation agenda, Rusty? Like, there's so much of talk around depopulation, Bill Gates, and so many conspiracy theories. Again, I am not against conspiracy theories. I am not for conspiracy theories. What I strongly believe is conspiracy theory of today is the science of tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So, so there are lots of talk about this depopulation agenda, and from there, one offshoot of that is the male infertility or even the female infertility, and injecting your body with so much of poison and putting EMFs and toxins. Even you shared some time back an article about sunscreen causing male infertility. So, where does this entire, this conspiracy, how does it emanate, and what is the agenda behind?
I mean, see, I'm no conspiracy theorist, but
I know.
any
I am a conspiracy. You can say tell it
any
alone.
sane person who can just go about connecting the dots will clearly see that there is one thing very clear that mm, the male fertility is declining. That is very very clear. But apart from that, the population is declining as well. Okay, and I mean, we can talk about the
So
Georgia
what
guide.
is the agenda? Like why some
They
Western
want to
countries
depopulate the population. They
why do they
to
want to do it?
500 million people
Why
because
do you
it's
want to do it?
easier to control 500 million people. I mean, limited number of people than to control whatever like 7, 8 billion, whatever we have right now.
Okay.
But even not going into the conspiracy part there, if we look around, we are surrounded by toxins, we are eating all the artificial junk, we are putting artificial stuff on our body, we are drinking artificial water, which is loaded with fluoride. There is not one aspect in the day, okay? Like every minute you are exposed to some or the other kind of toxin, okay? And I would like to say that this has been blatantly done in front of our eyes and a lot of
Do you
people
mean
cannot
to
even
say that
see.
it is by design that all these things are happening?
These are happening because there has been hands of the
Or it's a
globalists,
natural
few
evolution,
people.
like humanity is evolving, finding out better ways of distracting themselves or finding out better way of killing themselves?
Yeah, but then it would not have been happening in this way, right? Like if it was, happening in the sense that all everything is happening good, then we would not be in this crisis.
So that is
But
what I'm
clearly,
saying.
that's not the case.
Humanity has the ability to self-destruct. Is that the
Yeah,
humanity is exercising that ability by being supremely intelligent being? They know how to self-destruct themselves, so they're finding ways
yeah.
to self-destruct rather than blaming few people. Okay, they are trying to destruct this entire world. Maybe all
Yeah.
of us have decided to destruct, and next 200 years we want to vanish from this planet. Isn't that
I mean, it all
wildly?
boils down to personal responsibility. What do you do about it? Okay. I'd like to take care of myself in different ways. First is to know about all these things. First is to know about that you should not be drinking your water from a plastic bottle. You
Yeah.
should be drinking it from a glass bottle. You should not be putting all that shampoo junk on on your hair. You should not be
Otherwise, you will
using
become
like
like me, right? If you use
well,
shampoo.
no, it's not about losing hair. But there are a lot of chemicals. See, skin is the largest organ in the body. The toxins get absorbed like real quick from there.
Uh,
There's so many things. People need to understand, they need to take a step in this direction that, okay, things are bad, they are happening. They have to agree with it with that first and then go about researching, okay, so now things are bad. How do I take care of myself? Minimize exposure to all the toxins, eat good food, find a butcher, have friendship with them so that he can so that you know like where you are sourcing your food from, sourcing everything you are using, where is it coming from. People should have that curiosity, but people do not. So that's the problem. I think it all boils down to individual responsibility, and a lot of people are too covered to take personal responsibility.
I know we are too lazy to take care of our own
Yeah.
responsibility. That's why there is an epidemic of all the chronic diseases, including obesity, hypertension, and diabetes. They're all caused by our inability to take care of ourselves. We want someone else to do it for us. Give me a pill
Yeah,
so that I can get rid of my diabetes. Give me an injection, I can
too
get
easy.
rid
They
of
want the
COVID.
easy solution.
They want easy solution and they keep eating the junk and not going to the gym and workout or taking care of their body. So, Suyash, talking of gym, there's so much of nonsense going on in that area, and you have worked extensively with gyms, and you yourself is a fitness freak in a way. I see, I follow a lot of people on fitness Twitter and other places, and the advice is like, oh my God, how can a sane person think like this or do like this or recommend something like this? So there are so many protein formulas, so many supplements sold in the name of building muscles, especially to the younger population who is that our fertility age group people, like 22 to 35 kind of people who are normally going to the gym, and all those supplements being thrown at them, saying that you can build your muscle, you'll get a better erection, you'll get a bigger add-on, you will be like total mirth and all that thing. So it is like a clandestine kind of marketing which is going on in the name of building your muscle. I have seen with my own personal experiences, talking to hundreds of people, finding out why people go to the gym, especially the younger lot. They go to the gym to grow their mother, right? So, and for that, they are willing to do anything. So, in fact, what I have come to realize is this is causing more harm than the health. So all the supplements that you're putting into body, which are steroid infested in some cases, with all the artificial things into it. So, what is your experience of this gym bros and recommending supplement and their link to the male infertility?
So, Avinash, I would like to differentiate here slightly that if you are giving supplements which are more naturally derived and more nutrient wise, they are perfectly fine, and of course high quality, free of additive fillers, as we do here at iThrive. That's perfectly fine.
Bioabsorbable also.
Yeah,
Bioabsorbable. Readily.
but if if you're talking about steroids, which are some which are chemicals, some bunch of chemicals which will help you to interfere with your hormones. In fact, what it does is it interferes with your hormones and it will give you a short rise in your all the anabolic hormones, which will help you to grow muscle really fast and quick. I think it's the temptation behind that, that the short doorway where they want to reach to this point as quickly as possible. I think that's the temptation, and to lead towards the fame side, and to see, as you said, that to be masculine and to prove them that they are highly masculine. I think that's what that psyche is causing the misuse more than the use of the steroids itself. Because what happens with these all these youngsters which I've seen at the gym is they don't have right guidance, and if they get a guidance like something use I'll inject anabolic steroids in you, and then you'll be more muscular, more in a smaller time. Instead of you will take 6 months to develop these muscles, I will get it done in 2 months. So that's something which is the advice in the psyche which they fall into. And if you see the side effects, the cost benefit ratio, it's way worse towards that. So if you see, the first and foremost side effect of the same is your hormonal balance. Long term, you'll see very low testosterone levels, low libido, even testicles will get shrunk.
Yeah.
Even they will develop gynecomastia, which is also called as manly boobs. Okay, so like all the hormones as well as the physical structure, will go on the other side, right? And then they will have higher risk of getting heart attacks or even heart health issues. That's why if you see and research a bit on Google on internet, you'll see a lot of people, bodybuilders especially, took anabolic steroids in the early periods, have died because of heart attack and other issues in their
I've
body.
seen osteoporosis and rheumatoid arthritis
Yes,
also in a lot of places.
yes, yes, yes. So that is something which can decrease sex drive, create male infertility issues, poor erection, low sperm counts, as well as breast growth hair loss, which I already discussed, right? So the if you see the risk is high, very very high instead of benefit, right? So that is something which we need to analyze, and the right guidance and setting the right mindset is very very important, especially with the youngsters, right? So that's where the guidance and the mentoring comes very very important, right?
So we had lovely discussion today. Just on the lighter note, I want to end this conversation, and audience can reach out to us if they have any further queries. Because again, male infertility is such a taboo subject that people don't talk about it. Just like erectile dysfunction or low libido or not able to match up to your partner's expectations. So many things people don't talk about it. Women have started talking about it long time back. Men need to wake up and talk about this. So if someone wants to still reach out to us, I remember somebody had a query like last time. Remember Suyash? Okay, I want to only talk to the male nutritionist, not to the female nurse. So yeah, there are lots of misgivings, lots of taboo around the male infertility, the entire sexual scenario, and I think we will keep talking about the issues which bothers male fraternity as such, and we will try to bring out everything in the open and see how it looks and address it in the best possible way. So, Rusty, any myth that you came across? Okay, if you have low libido, if you have low testosterone, if you have low sperm count, okay, if you take this, it will solve all your problems. A lot of those Bengali Baba kind of people
Yeah.
selling stuff on the road. So I remember one
Shilajit.
person selling, not Shilajit is still legit, I guess Suyash will know.
It is, yeah.
So
I'm
there are
saying, but it is
recipes like
connected in such a way.
yeah, I remember someone selling tiger's nail as
Mhm.
aphrodisiac. Like you just, this thing.
I
So
think there
have you
was a
come
movie
across
as well
anything?
on the on which was made on it. I'm not sure, but yeah, definitely a lot of these kind of which I've
So
seen,
I went to a place in Kenya. It's called Carnivore, Nairobi, and they serve only grilled meat, and their specialty was bull's ball. Like they give you bull's testicle roasted, and it was awful to taste. And the idea behind if you eat this, you will again become macho and
right.
muscular, and your fertility will grow up, and your testosterone level will go up. So that was the idea. But it was very awful to taste, and I mean, for next
Uh-huh.
30 minutes, I couldn't comprehend. I ate. Right. So, Suresh, anything that you come across?
I I'm not able to recall it right away. I think in my childhood I used to come across a lot of things, ads like this on newspapers and other stuff. That you want Pardana body, take this.
If you
You
go
want
to the
one month.
north, na, especially by train, on that
Uh,
walls along
Yeah.
the rail track, there are so many ads like this. Okay, come to
Lots of them.
this.
Lots of them.
right, right.
Ye booty, in fact, there is this big or yoga guru Ramdev Baba came up with some kind of booty which will some putra jaivak booty or something like that that will give you only male child. And there is a lot of
Ah,
controversy around it.
okay.
So we are. I mean, there is an ancient science. There is some kind of wisdom, traditional wisdom which has been bestowed upon us. But again, everything is getting commercialized. Everything people just want to use it for their own benefit.
Right.
And somewhere we have to take, as Rusty rightly said, we have to take responsibility of our own health, and that is what iThrive does. iThrive entrusts you with the responsibility of your own health. We don't claim to solve any of your problem. We equip you with the knowledge that you need to have to make a informed decisions about all the aspects of your health. So thank you, Rusty. Thank you, Suyash. We'll keep talking about other issues and keep watching us, keep giving us feedback, and we will try to improve as much as possible. Anything to do with the men's issue, do bring it to our notice. We would be happy to talk about it and bring out everything in the open. Let's not keep anything hidden now. Okay, guys. See
Yes.
you. Bye.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much,
Thank you
Avinash.
so much,
Bye,
Avinash.
Suyash.
Thank you, Suyash. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care. Bye.